time frame is, that is if you intend to hold for the short term or for the long term, and if possible please restrict your queries to one stock each, or if you can then one sector each if you're looking for a positional play. The first question that I'm taking is from Prasant, and he's asking about Tata Chemicals. Kunal, this one's for you. He's asking about the technical levels. He's bought at levels of 525, and he's asking what the short-term targets should be and what the long-term target should be.
Brilliant acquisition price if you've bought at 500 odd levels for Tata Chemicals and you're still holding on. Alex, if you remember, I've been very bullish on the stock right from the time when it was at those 780, 800 levels a couple of quarters back when it was going through a patchy correction phase. But I think even at current levels, I think it's a brilliant buy and hold. Now the question is that how far and how long can you hold up to this stock? I think if you have a time frame of at least a couple of years, then I believe that Tata Chemicals can reward brilliantly even from current levels. Short term wise, it's going through a correction from 1100 towards 990 where the stock is trading. But I believe long term wise, the prospects for the stock going forward should be quite excellent. So I would suggest to hold on Tata Chemicals. And since you've bought at lower prices, you already are sitting on a good buffer of profits as well.
Okay, this one is from Danny Verghese. He wants to know about fresh entry in HDFC AMC or Colgate Palmolive at current levels for the longer term. Rajesh, either HDFC AMC or Colgate, does it make sense for Danny to enter at current market price for the longer term?
A very good stock for a longer term horizon, but what I believe is while Colgate is a very long term bet, HDFC can give HDFC AMC can give good returns in the medium to long term. So I would say if somebody wants to invest at this point of time, HDFC AMC would be a better bet considering the fact that capital market, especially equity, has been on a boil for the last 4-5 quarters, and that's going to help AMC companies.
Okay, talking about AMC, actually, sorry Alex, just a minute. Soumitra actually has a question on that one, Rajesh, and this one is for you itself on HDFC AMC. He's saying it's been underperforming market now for 2 years, and with the fund house constantly losing market share to ETF, personal investing and PMS, does it make sense to continue with this stock for the longer term? I believe he's already is invested in this particular stock. I think in 2019 he must have bought it around 3,800 rupees per share. So he wants to know whether he should stay put with it or sell this particular counter on rise. No doubt you said that on the longer term it looks good, but for Soumitra in particular, does it make sense for him to continue to hold on to HDFC AMC? Do you still actually go with that same recommendation?
Yes, of course. If he has a time horizon of 12 to 18 months, I don't find any reason to switch to another stock. But for a shorter time frame, he can switch to other BFSI stocks like HDFC Life or SBI Life. That would be a better bet. Even PSU banks are looking very great at this point of time. Maybe a Bank of Baroda and SBI could be a better bet in a BFSI. But for a longer term horizon, I would still reiterate that there is no problem with HDFC AMC.
Okay, fair enough. The next question is another Tata Group company. Kunal, I'm coming to you for this one. Krishnan, who says he's a senior citizen, is holding on. He's got 285 shares of TCS at an average price of 1,670, and he's wondering whether to add at the current price or he's wondering whether to wait. Should he add more?
I think it's a brilliant acquisition price again for the viewer to have bought TCS at those 1,600 odd levels. I would suggest that look out for maybe a 3,400, 3,450. Now you can't be very, very precise with stock prices, when they near their support levels. But just keep this range in mind, 3,400 to 3,450. This is also coinciding with the 200 moving average for TCS, and typically a retracement towards 200 moving average, in technical terms, becomes a very good contra buying zone or a buying zone where demand emerges for the stock at those levels from a longer term perspective. So I would suggest that you should hold on to TCS from a long term view, and if you're looking to buy or add more, I would suggest 3,400 to 3,450 as an approximate range where you can look to add further.
Okay, this one is from Ujwal Kumar, and he wants a technical view on MUTHOOT Capital. He is holding some shares which he's purchased at 445 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should average the counter or book losses. What's your take on this one, Kunal? Muthoot Capital, buy price is 445 rupees per share.
I think we should look to exit. It's a thinly traded counter. I think Muthoot Capital is different than Muthoot Finance, but Muthoot Capital, as I can see, I think is trading at 399 or 400 odd rupees, and 390 odd rupees. So I believe the trends for the stock is very, very lackluster. It's been trading in a sideways band for last 6-7 months. Volumes have also been very, very low for the stock. So not a great stock to really hold on to it from a medium term to longer term view. I would suggest an exit.
Okay. The next one is, let me take another one, sorry. Kunal Thakkar from Mumbai is asking about IRFC, and he's asking, this is a specific question, Rajesh, when can we expect a turnaround considering the privatization coming into effect? Another factor to consider is promoter holding, which is more than 75%. Time is not an issue. He says that he can hold for the next 5 to 10 years. He has 1,000 shares at the current rates. Should he hold or should he sell and buy something else?
Has been underperforming since quite some time, maybe since listing, I would say. And I don't find any reason to believe that it's going to outperform in the near future. Yes, there are some bouts of spikes here and there, like it was last week on Friday, all the railway stocks were up. But these kind of spikes gives an opportunity to exit. Better being Bank of Baroda, as I have suggested sometimes back, that PSU banking space is looking good. So I think Bank of Baroda can give you better returns than what IRFC can get at this point of time.
All right, this one is coming in from Rajat, I believe. Just a second. Yeah, this one is from Rajat. He wants a fundamental view on IRFC. He wants to know, does it make sense to invest in this particular counter for the longer term? What's your take, Rajesh? IRFC, does it make sense for Rajat to invest in this particular counter for the longer term, or would it be some other rail PSU?
The cushion of safety is quite high. Since it's a government company, it's not run up quite a lot in the recent past. Despite this rally, it has not performed. But putting new money doesn't make any sense when you have a lot of opportunities in the market. Go for PSU banking space, either SBI on the largest side, Bank of Baroda in a mid-cap size. That would give better returns.
Okay. All right. We've got a question coming in from Satya, and he's asking for a 3-month target on BEML. Can you give him a view, Kunal?
I think BEML looks attractive. Short-term charts are just about on the verge of a breakout. I think the 2017-18 high for BEML was closer to 1900, 1920, and the stock is nearing towards those levels. Last 2 or 3 months, it's seen a steady recovery from 1250 levels to 1600, 1650, where it's currently trading. So I think if you can hold on to it, say for another 3 months or 3 to 5 months, you can expect at least an 1800 to 1850 as a near-term target range for BEML.
All right, this next query that we have is coming in from KR Balan, and no doubt he's told me to ask this question for rapid fire. Nevertheless, I'll ask this one straight up to you, Kunal. He wants to know whether he should sell Godfrey Phillips. He's bought this at 1,250 levels, and he wants to know whether he should sell that and buy IRCTC at current levels for medium term, or continue to hold on to Godfrey Phillips. What do you say to Mr. Balan? Should he sell Godfrey Phillips, go and buy IRCTC, given that there's a sharp drop coming in that particular counter, or do you think he should avoid that move and hold on to Godfrey Phillips?
See, I think what happens is typically a stock which tends to rally significantly and generally gets missed out. Every kind of an initial dip, seems to be taken as a good attractive buy, because traders and sort of investors believe, market participants believe that the historical rallies would probably come back into shape once again. But when stocks, go into such sharp correction, it's bound to be that these stocks remain listless for, at least another 3 months to 6 months. So there is a possibility that stocks like IRCTC, IEX, etc., they could remain in a limbo for, at least another couple of quarters before they start to get into a correct, a rally kind of a mode. And the rally could be completely different in terms of texture, like what we've seen the last 3-4 months for IRCTC. Now, in that context, I think Godfrey Phillips could probably turn out to be a much better bet because the stock is already confirming a range breakout on the longer term charts. Now, for the last 4 years, Godfrey Phillips had been trading in this range, 900 as a support and closer to 1400, 1450 as a resistance on the upside, and it's nearing this range breakout for itself. So I think purely as a prospect, Godfrey Phillips emerges out to be a better prospect in terms of a breakout, because if the breakout shapes up, you could see the stock behaving, on a very strong uptick mode. IRCTC, on the other hand, is going through a correction phase, which I believe could last for at least another couple of quarters, if not more, for the stock. So the prospects for Godfrey Phillips looks to be far more interesting. I would suggest that as a hold.
Okay. Kunal, I'm coming back to you on this next one. Sakti from Chennai is asking about graphite, and we, I think, speak about this quite a lot in conjunction with the steel stocks, right? He's bought at levels of 580. He's wondering whether to hold or to sell. He's got a short-term view.
Hold on, maybe watch it out for another couple of weeks. I think the stock is trading below its 200 moving average. It's come back towards some key retracement levels. Yesterday's low, I think, was closer to 500 mark for graphite, and I think from there it's seeing a bounce back. So I think if the averages shape up pretty well, you could see the stock coming back towards at least a 550 to 580 kind of level. So I would suggest a hold, at least from a short term view, on graphite.
This from Lassia saying she's holding GLAND PHARMA 50 shares at the price of 4,100 rupees per share. Wants advice on this particular counter. What's your take on this one, Rajesh? GLAND PHARMA, do you think it makes sense for Lassia to stay put in this particular holding? 50 shares is what she holds at buy price of 4,100 rupees per share.
We have a buy rating on the stock. The numbers have been good. It has been really, numbers came 2-3 days back, and the numbers have been quite good. They are into injectables. Fusion is the holding company. That's the Chinese one. And there are huge entry barriers in the kind of business the company is into. And we believe that if somebody holds for maybe 12 to 14 months, this stock can give at least 20-25% more from the current market price. So any tip should be taken as an opportunity to accumulate, and somebody holding can continue to hold.
The next one's for you, Kunal. Havells October futures. We've got I believe this is a call at 1484. The question is, should they roll over to November? How should one play this?
I'm assuming that it could probably be futures position for the current series at 1484 levels. I think if that's the case and the stock is at 1274, you're incurring a hefty loss over here. So I would suggest an exit on Havells. And as it is said, in the last 1 week, 10 days have been quite damaging to the stock price trends. And we've seen that whenever stocks get into such a sharp correction, every kind of a minor bounce back, is taken as an opportunity to create fresh shorts or to exit from long positions. So I think you should also, follow very similar kind of a price strategy. I think if there is any kind of a moderate bounce, like what the stock did in the initial hour today, bounced up closer to 1300, 1310 levels, that should be taken as an opportunity to exit for Havells.
So a query that we have is from, just a minute, just bear with me guys. Okay, this one is from Harsh. He's holding about some shares of Bandhan Bank that is purchased at 345 rupees per share. He's holding for the last 1 year. He wants to know, will the bank grow in future, or it's surviving since its share price hasn't increased in the last 1 year? Rajesh, a concern of Harsh definitely on Bandhan Bank. He's holding for the last 1 year, concerned about the stock price, wants to know what's the future of this particular counter. So what's the suggestion for Harsh? Does it make sense to stay put with the holding with Bandhan Bank, show some faith in this particular counter, or move to something else?
Starts moving up. can't comment on that, but still, I think it's highly undervalued considering the fact that it has got 4,000 banking outlets, out of which 1,000 branches and 3,000 DSCs. There were issues about collection efficiencies from Assam region where the bank has a huge exposure, but quarter-on-quarter collection efficiency is going up. I think it's just a matter of time. One can continue to hold this stock. Is highly undervalued, and somebody wants to invest a small portion of his portfolio can also be invested in this for a time horizon of at least 12 to 18 months.
In this year's Progressive Punjab Investors Summit 2021. And now, please join together in extending a very warm welcome to Sardar Charanjit Singh Channi, the Honourable Chief Minister of Punjab, who's gracing the virtual plenary and later this morning will also deliver his keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, Punjab, as you know, is a land of enterprise, of hard-working people with a track record of touching the pinnacle of success. Punjab is a state synonymous with bonhomie, generosity, and most of all, an unending, enterprising spirit. Progressive Punjab, a story of partnership, delivery, and growth. Investors reassured. So let's begin this virtual plenary with words of welcome by a young and dynamic leader who's very open to new ideas.
All right, and that was a special summit that we will get you more of through the course of the day. That's Progressive Punjab's Investor Summit 2021. All right, let me move on to the next viewer query, and then this one that we are actually getting is from G. Kumar. He's bought RT Surfactants about 40 shares at 1,000.